Hi, Steve Stine from Guitar Zoom here, and I wanted to help you a little bit on how you can look at solos from other artists and add the best parts of those into your playing. Okay, so let's say we came across a song and it had some lick that we really liked in it, right? So we're learning how to play this solo and it goes... And it's doing something like that, right? So I've got... And we really like that, okay? But what doesn't really occur to us because we're learning a song by another, somebody famous, is that we could actually take that idea and then use it ourselves in our own playing, okay? So what do we have to know about this lick? Well, first of all, needless to say, we'd have to learn the lick, right? We got to figure out whether it's comfortable for us or what we need to do to make it comfortable for us. But once we've established that it's something that we can use, because as you learn solos, you're not going to use every ounce of every lick in your own playing. What you're going to do is you're going to take the best stuff that you are attracted to in your playing, and you're going to take those ideas and you're going to take them and you're going to bring them into what you do. Okay? So let's say this lick that I'm doing right now, which is a pretty typical kind of 70s style lick, and we're going to use that in our own playing. So what would we need to know? Well, we need to know what key it's in, what scale it's in, and then we'd need to know what tempo it's at. Because the truth is, this particular lick that we're doing may or may not be perfect at an even faster tempo or a really slow tempo. So sometimes when we take ideas from other solos, we have to understand that that idea may have some restraints to it. Like it might only work in a particular key or a particular position on the guitar or a particular tempo. We don't know. We'd have to pull it apart and see. So let's take a look at what I'm doing right now. All I'm doing here is I'm going to be in the key of B minor pentatonic here. And I'm going to the 10th fret of the second string, and I'm going to bend that up a whole step. Okay, and then I'm going to go 7, 10, 7. So I'm going... So I'm bending that up, and then I'm heading over here to this 7, and then this 10. Now you'll notice I'm playing with my pinky, although you might do it differently. And then this 7. Now, to get it up to a comfortable speed that I'm going to be using in my own playing, what I'm going to do is a pull-off from this 10 to this 7 on the second string. And also what I'm going to do to make this comfortable for me is I need to be aware of how I'm picking it, so I do it the same way every time. But what I'm doing is playing a down, and then a down here, and an up here, and then I'm doing my pull-off. Okay, now I would have to think, okay, well, I'm in the key of B minor pentatonic here, so if my song was in the key of G, right, whatever it is that I'd be playing, I'm going to have to move it down here, or I'm going to have to move it up here one octave higher, right? So 3 is the same as 15 in terms of the note. This is G, this is also G, so I could come up here. I could use it up there as well. Okay, then I've got to think about its tempo, right? So if I've got something that's going dun, 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 how do I want to use it? Like, do I want to make it fit in terms of the tempo? Or do I just want to play it as fast as I can and make it kind of a flurry lick, like just something that's just kind of crazy? However fast I can or however fast I want to, but I'm not really obeying the rhythm, right? I can approach it from two different angles that way, you see? So what I want you to think about here is you're learning the lick from a technical aspect, right? But then you're going to have to take that lick and convert it into something that you can use in your own playing. So in order to do that, what we need to do is decide where do we want our hammer-ons or pull-offs or whatever they might be. Okay. We also need to know what key is this in, or what position in terms of scales is it actually using. So if we move it to a different key for a completely different song, we're going to have to use that same position to be able to make that lick sound very similar in terms of its execution. You see? So then we just have to decide, do we want to play it in a way that it fits the rhythm of the song, or do we want to just play it, just make it free form over the top and try and sell it that way, which is okay too. But we have to be aware of those things. What key are we in? What scale position are we using, right? And that way, when we move it into our own playing, we can pull it away from that song so it doesn't have all the rest of the stuff. It's just this lick, and we can put it in. And then what I would recommend for you is you use some sort of jam track or songs that you like to jam to. Like for me, when I was a kid, Back in Black was my album. I would put that album on, and yes, it was an album at the time, an actual record. And I would jam to every song. Instead of playing the actual songs, which I knew how to play, I would actually just try and solo to each song while Brian Johnson was singing. So like I would play and then I'd let him sing and then I would play and so on. But it taught me a lot about phrasing. And then when I would go back and learn Angus's solos, I would take some of the licks that he was using and I'd start learning how to use those in my jamming with Brian, which was pretty darn cool at the time. And that's how I started learning how this soloing thing worked. So it's really important to be able to do that, okay? Adding these licks from these artists that you love so much or these songs that you enjoy so much, taking the iconic elements that seem to speak to you and pulling them out, figuring out what they are, and then being able to add those into your playing. So please try it. And if you, if you think about it, head over to the Guitar Zoom community page on Facebook and say hello and, shoot a video up there of you doing something like this. I would love to see what you come up with. But remember, as you're doing all these things, be patient and keep learning. Stay positive. That's one of the biggest things about learning how to play is don't get down on yourself. And take your time, and don't just find the licks that, whoever says, well, that's the best lick of the song. Find the ones that speak to you most. Sometimes those are ones that you didn't even realize that they're the best ones for you. They fit your playing. They fit what you see on the fretboard. But only you can answer that question, So take care, stay positive, and I'll speak to you soon.